Right. So today we will just focus on ES. We'll look at A2 overnight, B2A, and then we've got time for at least C period, see what happens on the initial balance. Yesterday, of course, was FOMC. We seemed to go up. Let's have a look at. I wasn't at Jeff's session, live session on FOMC. I've been swamped all morning. But what happened as a result of FOMC? Oh, we seem to go up. Boom. Overnight, look where we went down to. TPO, couple of ticks into the single print, and price rejection at the bottom. So 6, yeah, it could be a floor. FLOOR, yeah. And then overnight, we opened, went down a bit, and then since Europe has opened, we've just gone up. A little dip down to 22 three quarters. Okay, there's a big negative delta back there from Monday. Don't really care. Let's have a look at the shape of that on the profile. So we've got two distributions, yeah, and there's a nice zero print at 21. It's worth noting. So we are towards the bottom of the upper distribution. Big positive delta at 50, not a price rejection at the top. Good. So, plausible we at some point need to head down, explore this zero print around 21, lower part of the distribution. If we break back down into that range, then okay, overnight lows in play. Otherwise, at some point, you'd think overnight high is going to be in play. But we'll see. Much like JVC, I'm trading a bunch of live Lilu accounts here. So 16 through 20, and they're all being replicated. My approach on these, literally $150 a day, is all I want. So I'm going to try to use today to show you how I go about being really, really picky, working to a revenue target, and only take a little bit out of the move. If I find I get that early in the session out of the A2 overnight or something else, I'll keep trading live. I'll switch to micros. But what I want to do, the other thing which I aim to do, so here's the accounts. If you look at ththese numbers, 792, 817, 804 on the cash on hand, so starting balance now. 792, 819, 806. Yeah, I really want the trailing drawdown to be as high as possible. And that's why I'm taking, 3 ticks, 4 ticks out of moves, sometimes with size, and I'm exiting the limits. So that's what I'm going to do today. Literally, I just want to make $150 net on each of these, and I'm on target for the withdrawal plan. I'm going to be going into this in more detail in the new year, probably with some new educational material. I might do a huge Apex multi-account challenge as well in the new year, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But anyhow, that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 90 minutes. I'll still do stream of consciousness. Okay, about to open. Big negative delta, 29. Oh, we opened. Hello. I can't trade this. It's moving too fast. So just see. So in my mind, it's the 21's an interesting level. Yeah, with that zero print, and then the top of the distribution. That's what's grabbing my attention right now. That was really thin, that little bump down, wasn't it? And look how thin it is and everything else as well. Now, this is quite interesting. This machine's at Cermak. This is 1 millisecond away from the exchange. This is reasonably powerful server, 6-core Xeon, 1 generation old, and it's only running 1 instance of Sierra Chart right now. And we're struggling a little bit to keep up. Yeah. So we are really moving fast. I think, if you are, typical, well, if anyone in the US, you're probably going to be experiencing worse DOM lag than what we're seeing here. So this immediately tells me it is a morning to be a little bit careful. Although, oh no, I see what's going on because this has reboosted itself and it's on the wrong contract. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? H2. This okay, now it's going to be a bit more sensible. Right, that's very strange. This has been on all night. Now we're going to get a better chart. Forget all those levels which I told you about. Okay, that's looking a lot more sensible. Let's just get everything set up. F2. F2? What am I talking about? H2. Can't remember Reuters codes. There we go. Fine. So the top isn't a price rejector. We don't have a zero print in that area because I've got to roll the chart, but it is this area down the distribution. So I take back everything I said previously about the levels. That sucks. Oh, I've made a mistake. How about that? Oops, let's just press F5 for chart settings. Keyboard shortcut, don't you know? H2. Here we go. So it's going to go down. Might do one at market. One at market, get out in this UB. Delta's the wrong way around. I think I can nick a few ticks here. Looks like we're going to go down to go up on this. It's this area here, it's thin area around 12.5 on next year's contract. Look, should be able to get something out of this. Come on. So I'm trading towards the UB. Okay, the price rejection at the top of the pullback went. This should be okay. I need to adjust these other ones. Yeah, it's not rushing to get down there. But I've still got faith in this as a movement. But it's building a little volume distribution here. I'm wrong above, say, 20, 20.5. Oh, there we go, got fills. See my fill versus the sweep appearing on the screen. That was incredibly, we stalled. Yeah, so I got filled on that move. Then we saw the dome paint. That's quite interesting. So it's going down a bit further. It's 12.5, which is the interesting area at the bottom. But look, I've already got $50 on the board. I'm fine with that. A little bit less after the commission. And that was kind of a blink on the UB. So I want to be concentrating on the A2 overnight. But when you see something like that and price rejection, whatever else, then daft not to take it as a blink in my world. But, I can sit back, a few more trades like that, I'd be happy. H2. So we've still got UB at the low. We're eating into those zero prints from that sweep down. This is going to be more awkward to enter into short. Could play with something here. I mean, we need to see how it nibbles into those zero prints. It'd be nice this might happen a lot later, that we go down to resolve that. So I'm going to hang back till I resolve the other charts. Hang on. CYH2. Chart settings, YM. H2, here we go. Okay, so how to get in. We'll see what RCY is up to. YM's going the wrong way for everything else. Yeah, it's this one with UB, you don't rush in. Yeah, it can go way further than it should. Around the midpoint, didn't get beyond that positive delta. Okay, YM is heading down. This is a little bit too frantic for my liking at the moment. NQ's heading up. So look, we're conflicted. They're finding their way at the moment. We're going to produce a price rejection at the top, maybe. We're going to get up to that negative delta or maybe the positive delta band above it. It's decent MBO. And, FOMC, we can, wow, another big sweep. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 levels, 2 points. Yeah, zero prints. So about 500, 600 hit the bid there. Yeah, I'm going to sit in my hands for the time being till things settle down a bit. Go on a particular objective, which I'm going for. Let's just see, did they all ripple through? Yes, they did. There we go, that's good. So we're heading down to the UB, but it's a little bit too volatile for my liking to join it. Try it now. And just take a few more ticks out of this. Should be okay. YM's heading lower. Come on, fill me. Not going there yet. So, okay, well, I took a tick out of it. Can we do this again? There we go. So that's 2 bites of the cherry getting the UB. So it was 12.5 is this thin area that's interesting. It hasn't quite given us, well, we've still got UB. We don't have a price rejector. Might be able to scalp into this again, but I'm not in a rush. The price rejector up there could be, let's lean on some of that delta and just see if we can head back down here. There we go. Oh, I got my 150 bucks. I'm done for the day. See ya. But I want to make another 15 bucks to cover the commission. So this is, playing around in the open just based on have we gone far enough yet, which we haven't. But and UB was the clue, and just looking at the other markets for entries. Now, so you're aware, when I'm not doing a live session like this, on an objective like make this revenue, I will literally shut down for the day and do something else. Might be researching other setups, might be coding. But if I'm working to a pro rata target and I get there in 7 minutes, I will not look at the screens again for the rest of the day. I'm intrigued by Maria's half-eaten apple name on this. So let's just have a quick look at the revenue and how we're doing. 134 bucks, fine. Really mindful, don't want to be taking too many trades now for the rest of the session. But what I'll probably do is I'll stay in the minis for the moment. We'll see what happens on A2 overnight. And then I might switch to micros for B2A and C period 2 initial balance break. That's decent price rejector there. That's break. So look, everything's heading down. RTY is heading to the overnight low. That's interesting. Let's just see what RTY is like. Yeah. And what's, if any of them's going to lead us today? Don't know. I see. Thank you for the explanation, Maria. I don't know if I should be chortling or crying based on that explanation.
Well, now we're curious.
Are you curious, George?
Not talk about that.
Okay. So there's some decent absorption down here. Pretty big numbers, 392 absorbed near midpoint of previous, not overnight session, yesterday's day session. This might have legs for an asymmetrical long. Let's change to micros for the rest of this. Here we go. But RTY is so close. Okay, 400 absorbed. RTY is so close to the overnight low. YM still playing this low. Then Q about to break. We're going to go lower. That's going to pop, surely. Everything else headed down. RTY is going to, there we go, pops with a zero print. Yeah. So where might we go? Some zero prints here around 4 level. So on the TPO, we have nudged into value area low from overnight. Jeff would contend, it's very possible on FOMC day we give back everything that emerged. So FOMC would have been 1 p.m. Central. So it's somewhere here, 50-ish. Okay, there's the zero prints. So might we be taking a run down to 50-ish? That could be interesting. And of course, what that brings into mind is if we're going to see something in terms of overnight, would it be the overnight low? Well, where we are now, yeah, I can see that. And zero is going to be a bit of a roadblock. But it then begs the question, if we're trying to trade A to overnight low, how can we get in short? Is it going to, we're not getting very many tasty pullbacks to do it from, so it's hard to manage risk. There's a zero prints there. I don't really want to join the market, but it's not low enough. I don't want to sell the low, but that's going to pop. So I'm watching here. Okay, that's a price rejector there. Let's do that. So I'm using this price rejector that appeared in the pullback. I will do something 4.25. We'll get out of that. We'll still be scalping, but I'm only using micros now. I'm wrong beyond that big negative delta. UB at the bottom of NQ, RTY must be aiming for its overnight low. YM's heading down more. Little mini distribution, micro distribution here. Here we go. So I'm going to, why did I say 4.25? Yeah, I'm getting out ahead of these little zero prints. We'll take the to the overnight low in little chunks, but everything else moving in the same direction. Happy to go with it. RTY isn't there yet. It will be soon. We could add to this, lean on the contested level. The contested level in the pullback here. Zero prints just below the big fat round number. Overnight low is at 97. Those are at 98. Let's leave one on as a kind of, we'll get to the overnight low as a, no, big fat round number. Don't want to risk that. Let's do 1.5. So it's being absorbed all the way down. NQ's gone. RTY is about to go. Here goes RTY. NQ's having another push. It is literally like a wave. You can see the waves in each instrument. So the big negative delta moved down. I'm still comfortable with this. Look at RTY. This is going to blow through and bring everything else down with it. Stops there at the top of the pullback. 7.75. There goes RTY. So look at the stops, the zeros. Yeah. So those were stops that got triggered. People who had stops below the overnight low on RTY. The question is that going to be enough? Is it going to continue down, or are we going to turn around? NQ's heading up. ES is now starting to creep down. I think we're going to have another go at the low on ES. RTY is creeping down there again. YM's creeping down there again. So I was early. My idea is right, but I'm early. May abandon this if those stops fill in. But you can see our little distribution here. Okay, we're going down for another go, I think. Yeah. I just looked in the wrong place. Now I see, okay, don't like that. Fine. I'm going to abandon that. I'm abandoning that late. But we still may. Oh, confirmations. Go away. Okay, price rejector there at 10. Where's NQ off to? Okay, so now I'm mindful of the big positive delta at 15, also the midpoint at 14. YM is now heading for its highs. Okay, how's schizophrenia working out for you? And how's it working out for you?
Ba-dum-bum.
And RTY is heading for its highs. So just looking at, okay, YM got held by that big positive delta. Just looking at what potential inflection points are there above us on everything that might turn us around. It's a decent MBO order there at 12.75. The big positive delta is at 15. traded through it. Looks like YM's going to go for the high. And all this happens around 1/4 the hour. It's as if there's a 15-minute candle that's closed and something else is playing out. So this could be one of the days where we don't see A2 overnight. It's about 50% of the time the A period gets to the overnight ledge.
I thought it was quite a bit better than that in ES.
60%? Do I hear 60?
I don't know. I thought on ES it was really good. CL it was like 52 or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Yeah, I
seem to recall ES was like 80, 82 or 84. So it was like quite significant. But Robert could tell us, I'm sure.
Off the top of his head.
Yes. He's got it all memorized.
Okay, what was that horizontal line there? 14 in the quad. I'd like to get short, but I'm not trusting this turnaround yet because we haven't really turned around on anything around any inflection point. So that, I would contend that what we've seen now, this movement down at the moment feels more like a pullback to head further up. But I don't really want to trade long. Yeah, I'm looking for an opportunity to get short. It's UB at the top of the pullback. In the pullback, we've got two little distributions. The one that stops at around 8, one that starts, say, at 9 up to where we are. Yeah, so we're going higher. So now I want to see what happens around 14 and around 15 for the big delta, 14 for the midpoint. 81%. Okay, thank you, Robert. Okay, so like 1 in 5 days, we don't do it overnight. Now, we are a decent way off the overnight high, but it's not to say it won't happen. We got reasonably down to the low, and I'd say the low wasn't anywhere inflectable. So just want to look at some more context and big picture. Okay, YM just broke big fat round numbers, 36,000. We don't have a price trajectory at the top of the pullback on ES yet. So I'm looking at potential scenarios based on inflection points. Yeah, I'm not, and I'm reading what's happening in the now because I'm scalping around this, frankly. Yeah, I'm not really taking a view on we are absolutely going to go this way. I'm looking at possibilities of where we might go and which way, and then looking to get involved. But I have no directional bias right now. Okay, look, that's interesting. Not a price trajectory at the top. So this gets me potentially interested, although I'm in micros now, and I'd rather be in minis. I'm going to do something.
And why is that? I'm curious.
Because I gave back part of my revenue in the micros, and I was doing 2. So I still want to hit my revenue target, and I'm drawn to things like the not price trajectory at the top, thinking that this with a few minis is a nice quick way to hoover up 1 tick if we get up there. Yep, so I want to get some value. I'm not interested in picking up 1 tick in a micro. Whoops, that's the right mouse button. Oh, look, we've changed our mind. We're going the other way. Oh, this is very two-way at the moment. But what's 18.5? So I'm a bit, what would the word be? Circumspect? Feels appropriate, might be wrong. So I'm looking at the other indices for ideas, actually. Okay, RTY is heading back down, YM get back down, but where to get in on ES to manage risk? Really, it's got to be around 12.5 with the big delta, or lean on, I might try 11. There's a big delta there. I'll be wrong beyond 13. Yeah, should have been patient. And of course, the other 2 have gone back up. Shame on me. Yeah, I got short right in the middle. Oh dear. So that was a crappy early entry. Oh, NQ is pushing down. I think we're going to be okay. Overnight low is there. I would get out about 1.5. Just get the exit there in case, but yeah. A whole bunch of negative delta we've got to get through and then get back to that itty bitty distribution down there. It's very two-way. I'm not over the moon about this. But I like the directional idea. It's when NQ is going down, it's really, you see how it's flowing down, yeah? RTY is joining in. Yeah, I should have been patient. I should have been patient for around 13. NQ needs me to scroll. So NQ is pushing its lows now. Here we go. So there's some zero prints. I think actually we'll get out at 6. We'll get out ahead of there being any noise. So I want to get out ahead of where all that absorption happened. It needs a push. Come. It needs to get into the other distribution. Let's see why it's heading back down. Look how many levels of negative delta is here. From 8 up to kind of 11. Not rushing though. Whoops, I was about to get out of this and maybe look for a better entry. I think we can. So NQ 206, you would think, it's going to target again 200, big fat round number. So RTY and YM are sort of litigating around the open right now. Do they want to be up? Do they want to be down? NQ's turned down. Everything was up earlier, but NQ's the first one that's gone down. I'm still comfortable with the idea of this being short. I'm having another push. Q just broke the low. Come on, let's get my exit, please. There we go. Yeah, cancel the others. Okay. So, fine. My work is done for real. Yeah. 195, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go into sim now rather than do the micros. Cool. And this is what I'm doing at the moment pretty much every day. I'm doing 150 $200 per account, multiple accounts, and stopping. But we'll continue trading this in sim for the rest of the next hour. But we'll look for the structural setups. We still haven't had A2 overnight. So if we want to trade A2 overnight, the challenge at the moment And I think, it's the low that's going to be in play, but the challenge is how and where to get in. Building up some volume here, could maybe lean on that big negative delta. The aggressor's in control. Let's just try that to show you what's what. The overnight low is here at 97. 97 is, for me, too awkwardly below the big fat round number. So I'd want to get out ahead of big fat round number. I think 12 and a half, 13 would be a fantastic entry, but, can't say we're going to get back there yet. Look, YM's heading towards its low. We should have another push down. So here's maybe the next leg to overnight. Maybe it's this orange line here, which we've got to get through 5.25. That's what's awkward. So just for good habits, let's just protect. This is a stop, pretending this isn't a combine. I'm just trading now. Yeah. If that goes, that's really going to go violently. NQ has broken the low. YM is about to break its low. This is going to be fun when it goes. Watch this. The low on ES at 5. Come on. Should be like a balloon bursting. Not yet. 700 contracts absorbed at 5. It's going to have another go. 1,000, 1,500. Wow. Someone likes 5. Going to get run over. Boom. That was NQ. Boom. There we go. UB still at the low. Let's do one more. We can lean on this nice price trajectory, stop the pullback, lean on that delta. We'll have this one's a little bonus. Look, the zero prints here at 3.5 held us for the time being. We will take something off ahead of that UB. So now it's the idea of scalping around the core position. Can we leverage up a bit more to go into it, even do one more if it fills me on the limit, and that can be for the overnight low. Say 98.5. So we should get paid on the UB. Everything else is falling down now. Got paid on the UB. There's price trajectory around these zero prints. Got to be mindful of that around 3. So let's protect this. Next zero print, sort of 98.75. So it's all ahead of the overnight low. I'd been playing A2 overnight and getting out before the ledge anyway. Some decent volume being absorbed, yeah, on the way down. 800, we've seen 500, 1,500. It's going to go. NQ keeps going. YM's going. Could lean again, and this is aggressive. Too late. Can't get that fill. Note how this previous close, yeah, has held us. So all these non-arbitrary horizontal lines, okay, B to A, boom, it's about to happen, one tick away. So this is one of the 20% of days, which is not overnight low during A period. Looks like it's going to happen in B period. Here comes B to A. There we go. So I can't trade B to A, but I'm ready in a position for the overnight low. I'm going to be punished now for the average position price potentially. That's going to, wow, it's getting spiky, isn't it? Yeah, fine. So let's just cancel all of those. Awkward to get in. UB at the bottom of NQ. Let's just try this. Just went in at market. I want to keep playing the idea of getting to the overnight low. We don't have a price trajectory. NQ's having another go. RTY's having another. Sorry, YM's having another go. It's a good day if you're not scalping. Whoa, hello NQ. Look at that. Go protect it now. Here's our overnight low. This is the move down to it. So if we break the overnight low, what will be interesting is, do we give back the gains of FOMC, which will in reality take us back somewhere. It's midday, wasn't it? Might be easiest to look on a footprint actually, but we'll see. Just want to work out where that was yesterday. So look, we're going to get paid on this. Decent absorption there. Blew through it. There we go. Here's our overnight low trade. I didn't get filled. Look at that. I should do now. NQ is going to have another run down because of the UB. Come on. Done. So there's our overnight low trade. We missed B2A. It happened too quickly. We're through big fat round number. What's going to happen at the overnight low? Plowing through it. Let's just take a look at what giving back the FOMC gains would look like. Okay, so a whole bunch of zero prints around 56. Okay, so kind of 50 is in my head as a rough idea. Got UB at the bottom, very nice. Don't chase it at any cost, just look at logical places, big fat round number, to maybe join in. Okay, so the big negative delta is a bit of a barrier at the moment. Okay, not now, it's not. How's the top of this looking? If that negative delta goes at 99, we can join in, take something out ahead of the UB. Might have been too early. I will look at, say, 1.5 as being absolutely wrong. Next positive delta near the top of that profile. Okay, I'm watching YM. Looks like it's on its way down. NQ's having another push for the lows. I think this one will be okay. Yeah. Protect it because it's sweepy. It's not sweepy, it's moving fast. Let's express it that way. Oh, look at that. Well, okay, we might get another chance, another bite of the cherry. I'm going to keep the exit in there. Okay, it ticks up to the top of the pullback, then it came back down, so I'm happy to rejoin. Protect it again, it's taken out. If it moves down to any energy, I'll join us again. Watching YM, when that starts moving, when RTY starts moving, I'll just join in at market. Here we go. And also NQ, caught my eye, that'll push down. Oh. Okay, near the top of that range, UB there. So look at this, I'm trading price action on a vertical chart. Horrible. I'm not mad on the lack of UB at the top of the pullback, but I still like the idea short. We're at the top of this little mini volume thing. Now there's a price rejector. Let's try using this. We'll take one off ahead of the big negative delta on the pullback. Oh, okay, fine. You're messing me about now. I think the idea is still okay. I'm going to hold this still. This is, how did Wolf express this a while ago in the pit? Second chance, yeah? the idea, I think, is okay. It's just jumpy. There we go. Come on. Thank you. So now we get paid on the UB. How low will it go? Protect that position. I would do if the order would go in. There we go. Yeah, NQ's broke. Okay, fine. So we're out of that, cancel everything. So we got paid on the UB. We've missed B2A. Okay, so I'm going to take a bit of a breather. I'm flipping out. I've been doing this like 37 minutes. That's a long working day. Going to hang back now. I'm not going to look at this too intently. Let's let the first hour's range form, and then we'll take a view on the break the initial balance. That's why we're running this to different time. So first order of business is remove the tea bag that's in the mug of tea on my desk and have a slurp of tea. Happy to do any little Q&A. I'll change the chat preferences so that if anything, well, I would change the chat preferences. How do I change it? Oh, that's how I do it.
The 3 dots menu in participants.
Yeah, I was looking at the toolbar, obviously. Yep. Participant and chat with everyone. So I'm not going to look for any more opportunities to lose money until we form the initial balance now. But if there's any Q&A, well, if there's any Q, I'm happy to try and do any A over the next 10, 15 minutes. But I want to take a breather after that really intensive period of focus. Damn good cup of tea. Bit cold, but it's okay.
That is a man who enjoys his tea.
So, I'm happy with this. $195 net, 7 trades. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Good question, Jeff. So bonds should be inversely correlated with equities. So yes, they do correlate, but the other way around. So when equities are up, bonds should be down, and vice versa. And if they're not, and look, the equities aren't correlated at the moment. RTY, YM are up, ES and NQ are down. So hard to take a view on the broad equity market right now. But as a rule, okay, maybe YM's going to fall. When things are nice and orderly, we want to see bonds up, equities down, or vice versa. And you can read up in Investopedia about yield, risk, and all this kind of thing as to why this is the case. It's partly the way that bonds are priced. So yields go up, prices go down, because otherwise that's how you get a bigger yield. Yep. So there's lots of good writings on there. For me, the big clue is if the bonds and the equities are not inversely correlated, something's wrong. And it can be a sign of things like QE, money flowing into the market, which means we don't have normality or order, something's wrong. So that is then a sign to tread carefully. It's not a sign to do nothing, but it's a sign that the markets are not correlated, connected in the way that they should be economically. So be more careful and be mindful that things will change until such point as they do correlate again and normal service is resumed. That's a good question, Jeff. It's why I have ZB on my quote board, so I can just see at a glance what is the correlation of bonds to the equities overall. But I can also see from the quote board that the indices are not correlated. NQ is heavily down, ES is flat, the others are slightly up. You probably, I think, Jeff, if you Google, bond futures price versus yield, bond correlation to equities, you will find writings on this stuff that explain it better than I can. It's been a long time since my economics studies at school. I used to trade bonds. I traded the bunds when I was in a prop firm. I liked the bunds on Eurex, and then that got me into 30-year. For 2 or 3 years, I was only trading 30-year as a US product, and I can't even look at it now. It is far too hard to find in this chart book. But its speed is horrible now. Although $31.25 a tick is nice.
I just like saying Bund.
Bund. Why do you like saying Bund?
It's just a fun word. Bund.
Oh dear. Is that because of your
love? It's not a bond. It's not a bund. It's a Bund.
Bund, yeah. Meine Damen und Herren, this is the Bund.
Whatever you say, sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe your Dutch background is aligning you to Germanic things.
Not one bit.
I noticed your post in the pit about the Top Step free combine, and you registered with your middle name. So is your middle name Van?
It is not.
Oh, okay. I didn't think so.
No. My ancestral people apparently are from the town of Kloot in Holland.
Okay, yeah. From Kloot.
Yep. So from the town of. That's the Van.
Okay. What's going on? Not a lot. Watch for a wiggle at around 1/4 as well. 15-minute candle. You can almost start to visualize in your head what candles look like at different points now. And I think is it Kuika? He looks at 30-minute, 15-minute, 7.5-minute footprints. He zooms in to each rotation by half. Core by half. Bunt cake. I do like the Eurex product. I mean, Euro stocks is really thick, thousands of contracts at each level, and the range isn't that big. It's really slow, but that's why it's traded in a lot of prop firms in the UK, because it's slow. So for newbies, it's hard to get too badly burnt. But I don't like the time of day anymore. It's too early. Okay, I don't have a sympathetic crowd here because you lot are up early. But I don't miss the days of having a 4 a.m. alarm, out of the house by 4:25, having a cup of tea, banana for the road, showered, and then sitting on a train for an hour. God, that was miserable. Parking, 5-minute brisk walk from the station, middle of winter, scraping the ice off the car windscreen. Ugh.
No, thank you.
No. All because the risk manager said you must be at your desk for the open. You'll make 20% of your money on the open. And I said, okay, I'm happy with 80%, and I'll take the extra hour in bed, thank you. And I'll be here 5 minutes past the open on the fast train. Yeah, we didn't have a great relationship. Didn't last long. 4 a.m. every morning. No. MBO 637 just popped in at hello, short-sighted 3.5. So at the moment, I'm leaning towards the initial balance low breaking. Where it takes us, don't know. But where would we get in? There's a nice price stretch at the top of the pullback in proximity to the big negative delta at 5.25. But we don't want to get in 14, 15 minutes early because, okay, yeah, we might break this low and, things will change, but we can easily just range around the next 15 minutes. And we're not going to trade the break of the initial balance before the initial balance has formed. That is greedy. If I could roll my R's, I would have rolled my R on greedy for added emphasis.
Greedy.
That was more of a purr, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. How's your trading been this morning, JVC?
I haven't even done any. I stayed up all night, and I'm running on maybe 2 hours of sleep right now, and doing fairly well, all things considered. But I am just trying to get my dang copier to work. It's just every time I'm almost there, I run into something that makes me rip it all apart and say,
it's unfortunate, isn't it? Because we notice it's a kludge what you're doing.
Yep, totally.
You're working around gaps within what's available. And there's always going to be a new little
wrinkle.
Yeah, or a missing parenthesis.
Yep.
I thought you had it from the messages you sent me last night. The performance sounded very good.
That's the thing. The like, if all I wanted it to do was nothing but just, copy a trade and remove a trade if I cancel it, like, and that's it, then that's doable. That's very straightforward. But I want it more finessed than that. I want it more refined than that. I want to be able to move my orders around, and I can get that to work, but there's just so many niggling little behaviors, especially now that I'm trying to leverage both the built-in Sierra order allocation feature plus managing of placement and removal of trades, and not have them clash because they sometimes want to. And they don't know about each other.
Someone's asked me what duplicator I'm using. I'm just using the built-in functionality on Sierra Chart, which is really limited. So on the trade menu, you go to settings and order allocation to trade accounts, and you can then say which accounts do you want to throw stuff in.
It's very easy to set up.
Yeah, it's great for order entry. It doesn't deal with modifications of orders. So I'm not putting any brackets in, and I'm not dragging brackets around. And it's a little bit glitchy when you hit flatten, because flatten throws a market order in.
Yep.
And that combined with brackets and whatever else can really mess things up. So what I've trained myself to do when I'm using this feature in Sierra Chart is, if I want to go flat, I enter at market in the other direction. And I'm really strict not to switch between any of the other accounts to check what's going on. I'll actually use RTrader to see the state of the other accounts, because it's then too easy to forget to switch back and blah, 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 and you end up in a whole mess. So I'm just using it in a very specific way to grab, $150 a day across 2-3 trades. Sometimes it's one trade with a bit of size, in, out, done. I'm sure Sierra Chart will add some better functionality to their replicator, but I don't think any of the replicators out there are particularly great. I've got some ideas next year for what I'd want out of a replicator. So I will write one at some point next year, I assume, to meet my needs, and then likely commercialize it. But I don't think any of them are particularly great. I can find flaws in all of them right now. JVC's approach is a good good interim fix for being able to move orders and keep things in sync. What I'm doing, if I want to move orders, I will literally cancel all the orders and replace them, because Sierra Chart does do canceling just fine. So it's, especially when it's a live account that's SIM, position in queue, who cares? It's meaningless. So if I find things are getting messed up on my stops and my limits, I will literally cancel everything and start again. And that's worked fine. But it's taken me a few weeks to find out a good workflow to deal with the limitations of replication.
Indeed, and there are many.
Yeah. And it's not an easy problem to solve.
No, it's really not. And so on that note, I mean, you mentioned that canceling works, just to illustrate one of the headaches that I have to wrestle with is, cancel works if you hit cancel all on the trade window, right? If you cancel an order on the screen, it does not.
It won't. Yeah.
It's just, it's that kind of stuff that's just driving me crazy.
Yeah. So David, no, there's no replication between brokers. Yeah, think of a Combine account as a different broker, a different data connection. It's only multiple accounts at the same brokerage. Now, I think Replicanto and Apex on Ninja, if you have multi-broker Ninja, then they can cope with different accounts because the underlying platform is multi-account. But I personally wouldn't trust an add-on for Ninja to be doing anything on replication. I think that's the only way you can go cross-broker is if you have a legacy NinjaTrader multi-broker license. Well, do they still sell multi-broker? I think they do, don't they? But it's like $1,300, $1,400. And you then buy one of the add-ins. But I'm not trusting of that as an approach. You're welcome, Jeff. So look, we're teasing the midpoint as we're getting closer to the first hour. There's a price trajectory at the top of the pullback. Kind of, we can see the edge of the range distribution at around 7.5. YM has broken its high, schizo. RCY hasn't. How's everyone's bottom? Bottom of RCYs, nothing to write home about.
Speak for yourself.
Well, schizo, or how was everyone's bottom?
Yes.
You guys don't use the word bottom. You'd say but.
But.
So I'm just still going to sit on my hands for another 7 minutes, going to look at this chocolate on my desk, teasing me. I'm not going to have it. My parents round earlier. Is my mother's 91st birthday yesterday, so we fed her some birthday cake. Well, we didn't feed, she fed herself. She's totally capable. 91, bonkers. And how did she spend her birthday? She auditioned for the TV program The Chase, and she was filming the episode yesterday. So I've just seen a clip of the whole production team and the other contestants singing happy birthday, sir. So she got exactly what she wanted for her birthday, which was a heap of attention and will be on TV for the second time in the next few weeks. Mad. Literally mad. Bless her.
I guess the apple does fall far from the tree.
Maybe. She uses that phrase as well.
Oh, no. Sorry.
But yeah, 91 is a fair old age. Good going. She wasn't so happy when we gave her the bumps, obviously. How do you manage to get multiple copies of RTrader running? I don't, Andrew. I think these are just multiple windows which are open. Yeah, they're multiple windows. What you can do, though, you can run RTrader and RTrader Pro alongside each other. So there's no problem doing that. I have both installed on this system. So there's RTrader and RTrader Pro is what I've got open. I use RTrader Pro so that I can connect to the same account I'm trading because I log in without market data. Yeah, I just log in for orders. With RTrader, of course, you've got to, well, you don't have that choice, but you can have both open if you so wish. But yeah, these are windows where it's very first part of 21st century, I think, in terms of its UI. But they obviously know Sierra chart, guys.
Yeah.
RTrader is bizarre, and you start to mouse around in it and right-click things, and you find these hidden game levels and Easter eggs. It's like, oh, you can do that. It's not documented really in the. It's this sort of real mix of super deep, powerful thing that is 80% functionality, and this is simple in a giveaway. It's very strange. And I saw one on the hidden levels. This is interesting. I haven't played with this, but if you go to, where was it? It wasn't strategies. It wasn't trader dashboards. Oh, where was it? Window, trades, trade, third-party studies. It's like, hello, what are all of you? Who are you? FA beast mode. Helios, interesting. Lilu. Oh, leader, follower. Leo Ventures, Lilu. Interesting. MES, that's one up. Um, what is this stuff? Um, Willie Wyckoff, and what was the other thing? Oh, Damon Pavlov. Not Pavlov, Pavlova. Oh, there's Bulanok. So are these copiers? Apius are/were an evaluator. Buy low, sell high. Interesting.
I like that one.
Yeah, don't know what any of these things are. I'm a bit scared to click, but Trade Pro Academy. What happens? Look at that. So you
got
need
their own
permissions.
login.
Yeah, cancel. So there's some interesting stuff there. Totally terrible Dome.
Yeah.
You need a different column to enter stops. I've lost money learning that. All right, we traded back up to 12.5, which was the boundary of the two overnight distributions. It's given us a price rejector there, but the big positive delta's at 15. We don't have a price rejector at the top either, though. Could go either way. We might just have to gauge this on the excess, but let's see if we can find a really optimal kind of slingshot initial balance break in the next 30 minutes. We'll trade it like an old school fishing trip. How about that? Land ahoy! If we're going to do this like an old school fishing trip, JVC, you have to keep selling me. I'm trading the other way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll get right on that.
I've just realized when you use the phrase old school, you are the old school when you say it.
What depends on what you're referring to exactly.
Yeah, maybe. I just think it makes one sound old. I'm sure the hip
certainly if you
say it.
Yeah, if you say that you do anything old school, it sort of implies that you were around back when it wasn't the old school. But it could just be that you're an anachronism and you like to do things the old style.
Contrarian.
Yeah, there you go.
Veteran, vintage, whatever. Yeah, uncorrelated, Andrew. But we had this the other, didn't we? Where tech was the outlier in what was going on. So this is interesting. YM is now pushing to break the overnight high. RTY is about to turn round. ES close to the open. And then Q down. But a price rejector at the top of the pullback. Okay, C period's about to open. We've had a nice price rejector at the top of the pullback and at the top of B period. If this price rejector breaks, though, I would say we're going to break the overnight high. The excess is at the bottom. The question's got to be how to get in, and we probably lean on that big positive delta once we get through it. Oh, so I was about to put a limit in. I missed it. That was stops. So the TPO excess is towards the bottom on the profile. Yeah, less single prints at the top than at the bottom. You can just see that visually. You can also gauge it from where we're trading in C period versus the midpoint. There was a price rejector at the top of the pullback, which broke. When it broke, I wanted to lean on the big positive delta at around 15 and a half. But before I could even get the limit in, we popped up through it. So it's almost thinking of, if this was going to work the right way, this is what it would be like, but it's failed, therefore I'm doing this. Oh, but now it's given me a price rejector. But I think, look at YM. Look at where YM is relative to the high. Can we lean on positive delta again? Give it another try. Might be wrong, but I still trust the excess. If we were to get below this big negative delta at 13 and the cluster below it, then absolutely, around 12, I would say I'm wrong. We've had a price rejection at the bottom of the pullback. We have a price rejector at the bottom of C period, full of positive delta. So the aggression just started, only one lot. Yeah, so there's no absorption. We got down there and boom, the aggression took off. YM's heading for the high. It's NQ that's giving us a bit of awkwardness. Okay, now I need to take a view as to whether I'm wrong. I'm wrong if we trade at 12 and we stay down there. We went through that with some aggression, but I've got faith in YM. Go flat for now. Yeah, we can always get back in if we do go up. So now what gets my interest is the big negative delta. But the fact we're uncorrelated is not helpful. The RTY is up. Well, it was up. RTY is up as much as NQ is down. Yeah, or NQ is down as much as RTY and YM are up. So ES is really stuck, yeah, between the two. Look, YM's heading up. It's going to break the high. Let's try this idea again. And we'll have one there, lean on the big negative delta. We'll take one off at the price rejector, the non-price rejector, up at the top, 22.75, because 79 is less than 178. YM looks like it's going to go break the ledge. Then the overnight high should be in play. RTY is litigating its open. Still a bit ugly, just glancing at a few other things. So we're playing around TP on the midpoint. It's going up. Look at YM. YM's going to take us up. I'm looking at the cluster of negative delta here down to 10.25. It's a lean on protection. Look at YM. I think YM's okay. Look, we're in sim. Let's even show lean on the negative delta on YM. Can't get filled. Okay, now I'm filled. I want to try two, just to show you on YM. Let's take one out ahead of the break, the other one ahead of the overnight high, which is also shy of 36,100, big fat round number. What we'll do, if this breaks, we'll see where it breaks. There's an MBO here. We'll take a view if it's possible two-sided day based on the read of the break. But the overnight high, what were we saying about the overnight high earlier? Overnight high gave us a price rejector. So let's see. And we broke the overnight low, remember, and it would be rare to break both sides of the overnight range. That's 10%, 20% of days, if that. It's really quite rare. But YM's on the way now. ES is on the way. Got paid on one YM. Come on. Come on. Nearly got paid on one YM. Having a breather for another push. See how quickly YM dribbled down there and then popped up. It popped up in about 3 times as quickly as it went down. Same again. That's taken my attention off this little ES play. I still think we're going to go to the upside. RTY heading down around that big negative delta though. Let's just see. Yeah, could be totally wrong on this. Let's flatten everything and we'll may try again. Oh, flipping confirmations. Yeah, now YM's going to go. It's not the cleanest patterns in volume right now. The exit here is just for a second one ahead of that big positive delta, so it's a barrier we need to get through. So RTY is also holding us back at the moment. There's a Q. Q's kind of in the middle. We really need everything to get aligned, and the question is, look how heavily NQ is down compared to everything else. RTY and YM were up around, well, RTY, YM's 0.6, okay. They were only about 0.1 apart on the opposite polarity. It gets me wondering, could NQ at some point in the day turn around and then start to head up? It'd be interesting to see, can you find a low on NQ and then start trading it up aligned with everything else? Yeah, we're not rushing for this IB break. Let's see what YM does. It's creeping there. Two-sided day would be interesting. And let's look at this. The IB high is 23.25. 3.5 points above it, there's a decent MBO order. And two-sided day on this big range that'd be really rather tasty, wouldn't it? So let's be mindful of the big MBO order. Okay, YM is having another run. It's kind of low volume area down here, which is say 10 through down to the midpoint. Maybe it's going to the midpoint and then it's going to turn around. So I'm playing now. Let's do one limitation a quarter. So a couple of ticks ahead of the midpoint, middle of that area. So look, we traded, now we got a price rejector, yeah, on the midpoint. If you want to be really strict, which is always a good thing, yeah. And I was talking to this in the Q&A, wasn't I? You use a sit-on-handometer without the TPO and the VWAP stuff, and you only trade when you are near the inflections of the midpoint overnight. Yeah, look, there it is. YM's on its way. ES got down to the 50% retracement of the session with a price rejector. There was the entry. Everything else was early. So if the entry had been around 9, we'd be in good shape at the moment. It's the average position price, which is crappy. We'll even allow that to breach by a couple of ticks. So let's zoom in on this, the volume in the 30-minute around. Okay, now it's UB at the bottom of that. It's given us a price reject. No, it's gone. Will it build up again on the way up? Not quite. 145 versus 157. A few more hit the bid. We could get it. XYM is kind of holding its grounds. There we go. No, not enough aggression up yet. So it's 200 so contracts. We need to see about 100 cleanly trades positive to know these guys are puked. Hasn't happened yet. Yeah, it's exploring down. So look, see how the delta in the price trajectory reduced now? Minus 121, there was about minus 200. So net net, it just changed from positive 80 contracts, yeah, through that price trajectory area. Now we're on our way. YM is on its way. So even though my average entry is crappy, I've still got faith in it because of what YM's doing. I think we're going to break the upside. Okay, I've got filled on that first one on YM. So now we'll protect it by a couple of ticks. I think YM's going to go to the overnight high. If this price trajectory goes, then absolutely I'm going to be wrong on ES. I'm watching YM. Yeah. NQ is what is holding us back. Look how down NQ is at the moment. Yeah. Could be a great opportunity in NQ once it gets too low, given how everything else is up. So that YM's about to break its high. So that implies to me then the overnight high needs to be in play. That should drag us up on ES. If this price trajectory goes, I will hit flat on ES and then we'll reassess what's going on. I think I've got one in based off that price trajectory. The others are a few attempts. Yeah, we're hovering around the midpoint, yeah. So hitting the bid, yeah, too much volume now. Whoops, all these confirmations. Fine. So that's also a reason then to flatten YM. I still think we're going to go up. Okay, look, YM is on its way. Yeah, let's try one. It's not giving me a good sign of an entry. But YM is on its way. It even enter at market off that negative delta. We can make something off YM on its journey up. It's using the contested level and watching YM. Okay, it's not bad. So the price rejector fails, decided to get out, but I'm in again now. We'll protect this. I think it's going to reluctantly creep its way up there. So my exit is going to actually be 2 ticks ahead at 22 3/4 because it's not a price rejector, and it will be. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry, everyone. I had a call inbound relating to some medical stuff in the family. Nothing urgent. But I need to take it and just close that off. So we've got along again. The idea seems to be working out. YM for sure. Surely it's got to be targeting the round number in the overnight high. The entry was okay. This other entry on ES, I was playing the contested level around the midpoint to get in. We've got this little obstacle to get through. I see NQ is now up. Let's see. Well, it's not up, but it's up from where we were. Can it get through 50, that delta? What we'll do. We'll see if we break the IB, and then we'll take a view on the quality of the break. I'm going to add one more on this ES position, leaning on that negative delta in the pullback. We'll scalp around it, can take something off there ahead of the big positive delta, and we can keep playing this range as long as it gets stuck in it. So that's something traded there quickly. It's trading, but I'm not filled yet. I'm too far back in the queue. So I'd even get another one on, take one off, again at the top of the range. This is scalping around a core position. Yeah. Now, I think it's very unlikely we will take out both sides. So what we'll do, we're going to take one off at the top of this range bounded by the delta, the other one off before the IB break, the third one we'll just leave. The big negative delta has moved up about a point. This YM one's, I want to stay long on the YM. I think the idea is good. You're welcome, Heidi. Have a good meeting. Enter again YM at market on that little mini price stretch on the pullback. This area of 57, big negative delta. Be happy with one more there as well. Let it come to me. We're just, in a wave. We've got to wait. So we know that IB break happens, it's 50% of the time-ish, isn't it, in C periods, another 25% in D period. So we'll go to the top of the hour. I'm contractually committed to that. And I think we're going to break it just near the top of the hour or just into D period. That's what the stats would imply. That's why my idea seems okay. Just as a sanity check, I know Jeff put a call out in the pit to get feedback on the new format. Look, got filled on that range. That's okay. Is this level of stream of consciousness of what I'm doing? So I'm trading more than I would be in my real account here, but I'm doing sort of reasonable ideas. And I'm playing, okay, it's in sim. I'm using micros. I'm giving myself a tiny bit more latitude. Is the stream of consciousness level appropriate to understand what's going on? It's Amy. For Amy, I can't think my French, which Phil is trying to do. Thank you, Robert. Cool. Okay, so it's working for you all. Great. We'll take one off ahead of this range as well. So the way I'm doing this for the micros is kind of, it's play trading, but not without discipline, if that makes sense. And this is where, use a Lilo Express or, any evaluation to start to play with micros if you want to learn how to scalp around a core position. As it's playing here with this negative delta, you can keep adding to it, leaning on negative delta and get out ahead of it. And that's how you see the ranges. If the idea is good in this YM, yep, there were stops down here, 51, 52. This negative delta, still like the idea of it heading up, but we've got to wait to it. How can we make money in the meantime? by trading the range. And I'm just reading it based on the volume profile and the delta at price, and to a degree, the correlation, and kind of reading, I almost want to say reading the waves. Yeah. Okay, it's stalling a bit. Annoying, but I think we'll be okay. See, as I distracted myself, it all starts to go the wrong way around. Okay, so we lost something there on the ES. Cool, thanks, Todd. Yeah, that's a good point, Donna. Sure, I've switched off my live account. I'm happy to show ideas. They're not always going to be the best, yeah, but it makes sense to show, we could do this. Here's how it could play out. Here's a way of executing it. But YM's back on its merry journey up. What's the sit on hand almost telling us? Flag, pennant, wedge, something. I don't know. Well, if you want to sit, watch over my shoulder, you can get a expensive flight to the UK, make your own way to my office, and I'll put you in a COVID bubble. For my next transatlantic trip, I'm really tempted by the service JetBlue have launched. They're flying narrow bodies to New York from Heathrow, and they've got a 20 or 30 seat mint business class on a narrow body. I quite like the idea of that. You've got a UK passport, Andrew? How about that? Cool. Right, now I think we're finally on our way. So look, it's 56, coming up to 57. Let's just see when it breaks. Robert's been good enough to give me the stats. 50, just under 51% is C period, another 13, almost 14% D period. So we have a 65-ish% likelihood of it breaking between C and D. We'll go on for a few minutes. We'll just watch the break and then see how it's there. Not going to Plague Island. Yeah, we're getting quite hysterical. I don't think hysterical is the word, but nervous / panicked here. And I'm wondering, I've got no great view on any of this stuff, but I wonder, is Omicron potentially how humanity gets some immunity, given it is, it's a variant based on the originals, had a long incubation periods. If it is mild symptoms, maybe lots of people catch it. So lots of people are catching it here. Is that maybe how humanity starts to get natural immunity, and over a year or so, virus starts to minimize / burn out? Don't know.
And humanity's already got loads of natural immunity. They just don't use it.
We'll see. Zombie apocalypse, yeah, it could be. Right, so these are not pleasantly onside, they're horribly offside. The range is okay, but I like the idea. We'll keep these as bookmarks at the moment and just see if we do get break at some point during D period. Having said that, the excess is still above us rather than below us. We have got 23 down to 18, 5 and a bit points of excess at the top. We are 2 down to 92, 10 points ish of excess at the bottom. Yeah, we would have to get down to 97 for that situation to change. Not beyond the realms of possibility. Wow, NQ 1% down now, and it's hurting everything else. Could be a weak break. I think we could potentially see a weak ES break, and then everything else turns around to join NQ. Or we could break the high off to the races, and then Q could turn around to join everything else. Either way, there's a couple of interesting ways to play the lack of correlation. That's quite hard to say fast. So even on uncorrelated days, you can try and assess, well, what would it take for things to become correlated, and see if you've got opportunity there. D periods just opened. Didn't like how it opened and immediately went down. So I'm a bit open-minded now. But YM is so close. Okay, given us a price stretch, the bottom C has disappeared. Let's see what happens bottom of this range down to the midpoint. Midpoint is my line in the sand to get flat on everything and decide if it's time to do something else. And look how the profile is really starting to build out. But, I'll flatten if we get below the midpoint without anything looking like a price rejector. 5 was in play for a bit, big negative delta. Yeah. So we can always get back in there. Well, time to get flat, Thank you. Confirmation is going to make your numbers really crap. Whoops. Thank you. We need to, okay, we're going to the downside, it seems. And it looks like we're going to be chasing NQ. How are we going to get through 5? What's happening with 0 prints? Awkward IB break. So we need to see what happens with this 0 print. If we plow through that, then that was a little teaser, and I think we're going up again. YM's going up again. Here's why JVC ended up getting into B2A, and I don't blame him. IB. It used to be B2A was something I found much harder than the IB break. Now it's the other way around. If this price rejector goes, I will play short. And I'd actually enter when it looks like it's going based on the volume heading up. Like 120-ish, but that could be holding. The price rejector, the top of the pullback, bottom of the bar. Hard. Very hard. Looks like NQ is having another push down. It's NQ taking us down, breaking the lows. We've got to go with that. Trust NQ. So if we get below 97, absolutely the initial balance low will go, because once we're 97-ish, there will be less excess at the bottom. NQ's coming down. Maybe we have a weak break at the low and then we break the high. Yeah,
flip an end-sided coin.
An end-sided coin, yeah. Which it kind of is if you think about this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at NQ. I wonder if there's any tech news. Look, it's now down 1.3%. Has Elon done something? Elon says all cars have bombs built in, leaving the factory.
Every car comes with a free Shiba Inu puppy. Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu? Boy, wow, I really didn't get any sleep.
Yeah, and this must be news related on tech. Tim Cook reveals accent is fake. So we're 90. Look, the excess is for the downside now. I'd be happy to load up on this. Limits just a big fat round number as well, because the TPO's changed around. Yeah, the excess is there. I'm just want to look at some news and just see if there's anything because this was really Nasdaq triggered. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is FOMC heading back. No news. Let's have a look up. Nothing. Stocks rise amid battle between cyclicals and tech. RCY is about to go for the low. RCY has been really both sides, hasn't it? So entering there on the delta and front running zero prints. C period must be almost the whole range. No, it wasn't. Sorry, C and D period. Yeah. Be interesting though. Two-sided day? No, I think this is give back FOMC. Give back FOMC to the people. And then where would we go? 50 is plausible. If we do that, if we really go down heavy. Yeah, we've nibbled down through this run of single prints. Where would 50 take us? Midpoint is 54. Big positive delta at 50. That's where the buying came in, 14,500 contracts. Zero prints at around 56. So yeah, that's plausible. If we break the downside and we really keep going, although NQ is a long way down. Okay, look, everything else is now turned around. YM hasn't. So when there's lack of correlation, you look then for the correlation to start. And then you can play with it. So we will take one off on principle ahead of the break. We'll do 177 because 177 is less than 257. Yeah. The rest, well, we're just watching. No, we'll watch this break. The 3-point break would be 89 and a half. So we just want to see that for the stats, what it's like around 89 and a half. But I think we're going in one direction now. Just having a look at news. There's nothing really. It's just sentiment. Yeah. Okay, RTY is starting to melt. NQ is going to go. Yeah, look how NQ and RTY are melting. I mean, this is it's like, hello, ES. I think you're going to join in. So what we'll do is we've gone past the. We'll just watch the break. We'll watch what happens at 89 and a half. There's big liquidity at 90. But there's no MBO in there. RTY has UB at the low. YM is going to tease around the open, so that's going to cause a little bit of litigation. RTY is going again, and Q is going again. Here we go. One more push, and we should see the IB go. I'm watching both NQ and RTY. I think RTY's got another leg in it. It's the YM Open, which is our sticking point right now. Look how we traded up to the negative delta within the 30-minute rotation at 97.25. I think we may have another go. Maybe not. Okay, RTY is dropping down again. Here we go. Watch RTY. Yeah, about 8 ticks off the ledge. Knife catches. We're trying to catch it there. So it was stops on RTY, which I just lent on, and the big positive delta, just have a play with it, protect it. That could easily get swept out. Yeah, it's got swept out. I'll try one more. Whoa. See, I clicked market and I got filled about 5 ticks lower. I'm interested in here. I'm playing because it's sim and micros, but I'm interested to see YM litigating the open. I'm interested to see if everything breaks low, including ES, what is then the effect on YM? So I've done this as a kind of bookmark for myself, just to see, because I can see it's the open that stopped it. But if everything else goes, I want to see how far YM goes. So, buyers are trying to hold it. It's just whether they get run over. KMQ's having a push again. RTY's on the way. YM's going to be interesting at the open, which is 62. KMQ just broke. Look at that 100. Yeah, 24. Okay, this is 2-tick crunch, but is there anything structural on NQ? No, it's just going down heavily. And that's interesting. There's a UB from 2 days ago at 74. Okay, NQ's melting. Here goes YM. Let's see if it brings ES with us. Okay, looks like RTY is close now. UB at the bottom of NQ. Next obvious barrier on NQ is going to be big fat round number, 16,000. Keep an eye on that. So could that be what turns it round? 16,000 on NQ, weak break of ES would be 89.5. Open on YM, see how everything starts to line up, or are we just going to plummet? Don't know, but we'll see when we get there. We'll keep going until we get to, okay, we've broken. We need to watch 89.5. NQ got to, okay, 7.5, still UB, should be going lower. So I want to be seeing what happens around the round number on NQ. YM's turned negative on the session. got below the open. ES has broken the initial balance by 2 ticks so far, with some, yeah, it's okay absorption. It's nothing that exceptional. So I think we can go lower. But given it's NQ that's taken everything down, I want to see what happens when NQ gets the big fat round number. If ES gets below 89.5, then statistically the odds of a weak break become unfavourable. Sorry, two-sided day become unfavourable. See why it's headed lower. Look at YM now relative to its low. If YM breaks the low, could be a trends day, a one direction day, and we really start moving to kind of retrace or give back the FOMC gains. We will protect YM just by that big positive delta. Might get filled. Okay, it did. Just flatten that. Now we'll just watch. I'm happy to go till bottom of the hour, then we'll wrap up. Now we're just watching. So look at this, 2 ticks is some arbitrary horizontal line from a previous something. Okay, single print. Yeah, run of single prints, that's the boundary. That's what held us for the time being. Trade between the levels. Hard to call now, frankly. Need to watch these zero prints and the big positive delta and the top of the range around 1.5. Okay, we traded into 2 of those zero prints from the way down. And we're not that full of clues right now. NQ, the bottom, it's reasonable. It's just the proximity to 16,000 that has me thinking it might try it lower. Curious. So sitting on hands, watching, waiting. That's a lyric from something, watching, waiting. Near the top of this range, around 1.5. Okay, NQ got just above 50. That could be turning round. We'll try another short on ES. We're wrong above the price trajectory and the range at, say, 2. Seeing what NQ does as well. I could even don't want to enter a market, but I'm going to try it. I'm just going to take a little play on NQ, thinking 50 was enough. I'll lean on the, I'm wrong at, okay, above 40. Going to lean on that positive delta. And I think NQ is going to have a little run for big fat round number. We got to 7. 3.5 always ends up being played with. I will get out just ahead of that. Let's say 5.5. There we go. Yeah, we're on our way. It's YM that intrigues me, but it's being a little bit awkward around the open. We've got two instruments in play right now, so we'll hang on to that. Yeah, seems okay. Again, it was a late entry. I was late on the analysis of that on NQ. Okay, and Q's going the other way. I still think it's going down. Playing YM as well, same idea. So YM to the overnight low. Sorry, to the session low. And here I'm exploring ideas more than anything else. But the reason I'm putting these trades on is to kind of bookmark the ideas. If the price rejector goes on ES here, the top of the range, then absolutely I'm wrong. Add to it based on the idea. Part of this for me now is almost practice / exploring on NQ and the other instruments. Yeah, I'd normally not be trading now this late in after certainly not having made a revenue target, but just watching and utilizing ideas and exploring, frankly. Right, that's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Fine. So now it's getting odd. I think we will wrap it here. Might be a two-sided day. The case for a two-sided day, weak break, only 2 ticks, reasonable absorption at the low, 274 versus 0. But could also go either way. Hard to say. I'm not unhappy. I'm done for the day, frankly. So I will say Burning Desire is going once / twice. Interesting session. You're welcome, Wolf. If you are still trading now, tread very carefully. The price action has changed. It's quite not so much sweepy, but it's jumping around much like it was at the open. We had a bit more order during B period. The initial balance break is interesting. Let's just look at the shape of the profile distribution. I think it's going to explore lower, but it's going to be awkward trying to get in. That's my view. I think we're going to go down further. But your mileage may vary. So thanks, everyone. I hope it was useful. I will see you all in the pit. And I think is it Jeff tomorrow, JVC?
Do believe, let me triple check the calendar. Yes, Jeff tomorrow. He's got the whole day, the whole session.
Cool. Good stuff. So have a good day. Stay green, stay frosty, and I'll see you all in the pit. Bye for now.